Let's do this.
Tear it down. Tear it all down.
Do your thing, Songbird. It's gonna blow! Oh my gosh! Whoa, look at her!
The Whistler! Elizabeth! The bird, Elizabeth! I lost control! He's coming!
No, he isn't.
Oh, she's got all of her power back. Wait,
Where
what?
is he? Where is he?
What? He's under...
It's okay.
He's dying.
It's all right. I'm here.
The pressure.
Just let go. There you go. There you go.
Elizabeth. I'm sorry.
What? Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. Look at that.
What is this place? Elizabeth?
Oh my gosh, we're in Rapture.
One of many.
We're back in Rapture.
This way.
What do you mean
Holy
it's a doorway?
moly.
Where are you going?
Oh, come on. Yes, it's this way.
What Comstock said about your finger. Is there an answer here? Do you...
Down here.
Give me a minute, Elizabeth. You guys see that? That's a little sister and her big daddy. Look at this. The Footlight
Over
Theater.
here,
This is the beginning of the first game. Remember? Because this is where Jack, he went up here. Plasmids. And there's the Gatherer's Garden where he got the first plasmid in the game. Holy cow. This is eerie. Wow. Who would have thought we'd be back in Rapture? Holy cow. This is where he made it through with the wrench. This is where he first showed up. Wow, this is incredible. And it hasn't even happened yet. Right? Or has it? At what point in time did we come back here? Is it before or after what happens in the first game?
Why? What is going on?
The
Elizabeth, what do you
bathysphere.
mean
Oh my
that this
gosh.
is a doorway?
There's the Vita
I'll
Chamber.
have to show you.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna take the bathysphere. This is crazy.
Probably gonna regret this.
It's like... Oh man. This is awesome.
City at the bottom of the ocean. Ridiculous.
LOLOL. Because of course, city at the bottom of the ocean, oh, that's so much more ridiculous than the city up in the sky. She's not even saying a thing. I think her getting all of her power back has had another change on her.
Look at that.
There's the lighthouse.
Thousands of doors.
Wait, what?
Opening all at once. My God, they're beautiful.
What, the stars?
Wait, the stars are doors? That's what you're seeing? Holy moly, what has getting all of her power
Come
done?
on, it's this way. Come on.
There's always a lighthouse. There was a lighthouse in this one. There was a lighthouse at the beginning of this one. In the first one.
Do you
In
go
the
to
second
open?
one.
It's no good. Damn it. I thought once we were here, I could fully control it. I thought...
What is that?
It's a key.
What?
Where did it come from?
It's always been there. I just couldn't see it.
What? Wait, explain that, please. What? Oh wow, look at it. Look at the clouds and the moon. Look at this. This is gorgeous. What the?
See? Not stars.
Look at all the lighthouses.
Doors.
Doors to...
To everywhere.
Oh.
What's the choosing?
I see what she's saying. Look, from a distance, the lighthouses look like stars, each representing a door. Oh, wow.
What are all these lighthouses? Why are we... Who are...
There are a million worlds. All different and all similar. Constants and variables.
Holy
There's
cow.
always a lighthouse. There's always a man. There's always a city.
How do you know this?
I can see them through the doors. You, me, Columbia, Songbird. But sometimes, something's different, yet the same.
Constants and variables.
Yes.
This is getting trippy. I hope you guys are following. Woohoo! This is getting insane. Whoa!
Look.
It's us.
Another...
Not exactly.
What?
We swim in different oceans but land on the same shore. But it always starts with a lighthouse.
I don't understand.
We don't need to. It'll happen all the same.
Why?
Because it does. Because it has. Because it will.
There's another...
There's so many
another over
choices.
there.
They all lead us to the same place. Where it started.
No one tells me where to go.
Booker. You've already been.
Oh, Booker, trying to be so resilient. No one tells me where to go. Quit it, man. This is not the time to be all macho. Holy crap. Oh, there's another version of us over there. There they go. This one over here. Boy, this gives you some perspective on what we've been experiencing.
Wait a minute.
Whoa, what?
I know this place. I was here. Must have been 20 years ago, right after Wounded Knee. I was looking for...
Come on now, time's a-wasting.
Why were you here?
Forgiveness, I guess.
Are you ready to have your past erased? Are you ready to have your sins cleansed? Are you ready to be born again? Take my hand.
He came here looking for...
No, I don't want to.
But you already did, didn't you?
for forgiveness for the things that he did at Wounded Knee. He's referenced it and referred to it throughout the entire game. But I guess he never told us that he actually came here.
Are you ready to be born again?
I am.
Do you
Isn't
hate
this the
your
same
sins?
guy from the beginning of this game?
Do you hate your wickedness?
Yes.
Isn't this the same
Do
guy?
you want to clean the slate, leave behind all you were before, and be born again in the blood of
Yes.
the Lamb? Jesus, wash this man clean. Father, make him
Stop
born
it.
again. The Lord,
Stop it.
what
No.
are you doing?
Get off me! Get off!
Son!
You didn't go through with
You
it.
think a dunk in the river's gonna change the things I've done? Let's get out of here.
You'd be surprised, Booker.
These doors of yours, they're all tears, right? We'll open one up. Open one up to Paris. I want to be shut of all this.
Not until we find Comstock.
Comstock's dead.
No. He was here. This way.
I guess she was meaning another version of Comstock? I mean, look, we just saw several versions of ourselves. So, I wouldn't be surprised if she's just saying, oh yeah, there's also several versions of Comstock in the other dimensions.
And what of my debts?
Robert?
Bring us the girl, and wipe away the debt.
This is the man who hired me to find you.
Really?
Yes. The girl for the debt.
I had a feeling you were involved with this, Robert Lutece, considering what Rosalind said in that voxophone. Wait a minute. No. Oh my gosh.
Wait,
A
no,
baby.
this is wrong.
I thought that's what I heard earlier.
There was no baby.
Oh, don't tell me.
No, there was no baby, and if there
Robert,
was, I sure as hell wouldn't give it over to this
don't-
guy.
Booker, you don't leave this room until you do.
Do it. Time is running short. Bring us the girl, and wipe away the debt.
Oh my gosh, pick up the baby. Oh gosh. I thought he said that he didn't have any
You
children.
can wait as long as you want. Eventually, you'll give him what he wants.
How do you know all this?
I can see all the doors, and what's behind all the doors. And behind one of them, I see him.
Comstock.
So then how does this play into what Rosalind was talking about?
What choice do I have?
Oh my
The
gosh.
debt's paid. Mr. Comstock washes you of all your sins.
What? Wait a minute. Robert, get back here. Hold on a second. What?
Bring us the girl.
We're back on the
and wipe
boat?
away the debt.
There was no baby. The deal was I go to Columbia to get you.
Booker.
Don't tell me my nose is bleeding again. It is.
Remember what I remember.
Now we've upset him.
I don't expect this next bit will do much for his mood.
Come on.
Oh, don't say that, Rosalind. Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go.
What are we doing here? Comstock's dead. We can just go on with our lives. You don't need
Dead?
to.
You mean like Chen Lin? Like Lady Comstock?
Oh, they're gone
He
again.
is alive in a million worlds. It's not over because the prophet is dead. It will only be over when he never even lived in the first place.
Oh my gosh. Elizabeth, do you realize what you're suggesting? Now, what's interesting, remember, when Elizabeth asked him earlier about did he have a family, he said his wife died in childbirth. She said, oh, so then you have children? And he's like, and he said no. So did he lie? Or did he just not remember? Wow, the very beginning of the game, we're all the way back here.
Hey,
What
the
the?
deal's off. You hear me?
Unstable.
The deal is off.
It's
Give her back.
fine, hurry!
Give her back.
Fine, are you mad?
No, you will not get caught in between. Come.
It is uncomfortable enough as it is.
So this is what happened?
If you don't come now,
If I
What
get
the?
caught,
Look
it's gonna
how
be a
young
very long
Comstock
time
looks.
before we see each other.
you will not get hot. I promise.
You can't promise me that.
He didn't want to go through. He was afraid it would close.
Thank you.
So this is what happened.
Give her back, you son of a bitch.
It's ready.
Give me back the baby. Give me back my daughter.
No. No.
Ah,
no.
crap,
The
they went
machine,
through.
no. Shut it
Ah.
down. Shut down the machine now. Do it. Give me back my daughter. No.
The pinky. Elizabeth is my daughter. She's actually Anna.
No. No. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Elizabeth was there because she actually was. She was. Because of me.
She's gone, Booker. Anna's gone.
AD. Anna
Share
DeWitt,
this room
shut
with your
up.
regret.
Oh my gosh.
Almost 20 years. Until one day, a man came to you and offered you a chance at redemption. A chance for us to be together.
No. And they just showed up and was like, okay, let's set this all into motion. Wow. So Comstock knew he would come for her, and he knew he could identify him by the tattoo on his hand, because he regretted it and wrote her initials AD on his hand, which stood for his daughter's name, Anna DeWitt, who was actually Elizabeth. Holy moly.
I told you it would work.
We already know it works. The question is, will he?
Anna. So sorry, Anna.
Do you suppose he branded himself as some sort of penance?
Sure.
Don't see the point. What's done is done. What's done will be done. I suppose the brand is his hair shirt, as he is ours.
Wipe away the debt. Bring us the girl. Wipe away the debt.
See,
Bring us the girl.
he's starting to put his story together.
Wipe away the
You're quite fond of this theory of yours.
He's manufacturing new memories from his old ones.
Well,
Wipe away
the brain adapts.
I should know.
Bring us
I
the girl.
lived it.
Booker,
Huh.
wake up. Booker, wake up.
It was all like one big science experiment for the Lutesses.
I sold you.
To your credit, you did try to weasel out of the deal.
Oh, gee, thanks, Rosalind.
What if I went back? Killed him before he did any of this?
Things get set in motion.
How would one know how far back to go?
That's the only way to do it. Go back to when he was born, and I'll smother this son of a bitch in his crib.
Whoa. Okay, Booker, I know what you're trying to say, but now you're talking about killing a baby. I don't think we want to go that route, buddy. I don't think you want to do that. Even if it is Comstock. Oh boy. Well, Elizabeth didn't say anything when I said that, so is she like on board with that? Oh boy.
Booker, are you sure this is what you want?
I have to. It's the only way to undo what I've done to you.
What the? Wait, why are we back here?
Are you ready to
What
be
is this?
born again?
Why are we back here?
This isn't the same place, Booker.
Of course it is. I remember.
Are you ready to leave behind all
You're
that
not-
has gone before?
What?
Wipe the slate clean.
Who
What?
Start
You
anew.
chose to walk away,
Washed in
but in
the
other
blood
oceans,
of the Lamb.
you didn't. You took the
Do you
baptism,
hate your
and you were
sin?
born again as a different man.
Do you hate your
It all
wicked-
has
Oh
to end
my
even where it
gosh.
started, not just in this world, but in all of ours.
Smother him in the crib.
Smother, 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 smother.
Born again.
Before the choice is made,
Comstock
before you
wasn't
are reborn.
born as a separate person.
My son.
He's Zachary Comstock. He's Booker DeWitt.
They're the same person.
I'm both.
And they kill him. And in doing so, kill Comstock. Because this is where Comstock was, quote-unquote, born. Not as a baby, but at the baptism when Booker wanted to be forgiven for what the things he had done. And now some of them are disappearing from existence? Is that what's going on here? And we don't see if she disappears. Kind of like the end of the movie Inception, where you don't really get to know the actual answer. And that, my friends, was Bioshock Infinite. That is an ending that I have seen just send people for a loop. It is one of the most, like, what the heck endings to a story I've ever seen and seen people react to. This is an ending that really is supposed to make you think about everything that happened in the game. When you now realize that Booker and Comstock are the same person. So it explains why Comstock kept saying he knew things about Booker, about him being, you know, the false shepherd, or knowing how he turns out, when he was alluding to, like, all he needed to do was tell Elizabeth the truth, that you are me, you know, that's basically what he was implying. And just it's like playing through this with the perspective of knowing the all the spoilers, all the whole truth behind the story about Comstock and Booker being the same person, that Elizabeth is actually Booker's daughter, whose real name is Anna, and the telling of this story and the discovery of the truth, and it is just so well done. It's one of my favorite tellings of a story I've ever seen in a game. I mean, it's super complex. You really have to, like, I highly recommend checking out the final video of the playthrough of this game by Jesse Cox, because during the credits here, he literally tries to go through every single aspect of this story after learning that truth of that they're the same person, and then thinking about some of the other factors into this, about like how about the Lutesses and how they were essentially the ones who set this whole story, this whole game in motion from the very beginning. Hold on a second. Sorry, in my headphones they were starting to play the that barbershop quartet group from the beginning who were singing God Only Knows. It was a little loud because I'm really trying to think thoroughly about all the different aspects of this story, about the things like how Elizabeth was able to have her powers in the first place, because that's something they never actually fully explained unless you kind of pick up on little things. I think it has to do with, and again, as I was saying, Jesse Cox tries his best to think through every single aspect of this story and try to explain it as best he can. So I may not do as well of a job. But I think it really has to do with the fact that she left her pinky in one world. Like, there was a part of her left in another world, which somehow was able to give her the powers that she had, because no one else was really able to do that, because they never actually was able to exist in two different realities at the same time. But because she was able to do so, because her pinky was in one world and the rest of her was in another, she was able to have the powers to open the tears or even create new ones. As she was saying, when she had her full powers, like, she was able to actually see all the doors and what's behind all the doors. Of course, let's take a moment as we see the cast of characters to give a standing ovation to the voice actors in this game. An incredible job. Troy Baker as Booker DeWitt. Courtney Draper as Elizabeth. Fantastic. Laura Bailey. I knew that was Laura Bailey. Kimberly Brooks, of course, as Daisy Fitzroy. Jennifer Hale as Rosalind Lutece. Just an absolutely fantastic job. Steve Bloom, I knew he was in this as well. I recognized his voice. Some other notable voice actors like Robin Atkin Downs, I think is a name I recognize. I'm looking at the other names here, see if I recognize anyone else. I don't think I recognize any other names here, but an absolutely fantastic job in the voice acting, especially Courtney Draper and Troy Baker did a great job as Booker and Elizabeth, especially during some of those emotional scenes in this game, because obviously, as I said at the beginning of this playthrough, this is not a feel-good story, because that's a kind of a sad, depressing ending that they end up kind of killing him to, fulfill his wish to kill Comstock, because that's effectively what they had to do. But that it's supposed to affect certain things, but actually does it because of the whole theory that Rosalind Lutece brought up in one of those Vox runs, said, like, do these decisions we make and changes actually change anything? Because time can be an ocean, and no matter what changes you cause or make, does it actually change anything, or will it, or does everything still remain the same despite the changes you try to make? There have been other movies that have explored this theory, such as Deja Vu with Denzel Washington, about one of the guys that's even working in that lab tells him, it's like, look, no matter what change you make, it doesn't matter. You cannot change the past or, what happens. It's, that it's impossible, or at least that's a theory, that it's not possible to change those things, no matter what you do. But could it actually be the case that you can change those? As Robert believes it can. And, him being there, kind of helping set the whole thing in motion, being the one like, bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. And, that we saw aspects of what happened before, like that scene where we saw that's how they kind of met with the portal, trying to get through. and just all these, there's so many different aspects to this story, guys, that it's hard to like fully think about everything, which is why I recommend, if you want like a really good, full, detailed, thorough explanation about the story, after learning about the spoilers, is to check out Jesse Cox's final video, because he does as good a job as anyone else on YouTube, as I've heard, trying to fully explain this story, being the story and lore nerd that he is, just like I am. Which is why he's one of my favorites and was one of my inspirations to do my own playthrough channel. I mean, I'm trying to think of, is there any other aspect of this? I mean, there's also some of the things about, like, the connections between Columbia and Rapture. That Fink was talking about how the Tears, he learned some things, including what I believe was tears to Rapture and some other people. In fact, this is something we're going to explore when we actually get to the DLCs that came out for this game, called Burial at Sea, which is supposed to focus on us going back to Rapture and playing there for the majority of the time, in a scenario where you and Booker and Elizabeth get to be, or Anna maybe, are there in Rapture, and how some things that happened at Rapture in the first Bioshock game actually tie into this game. Like, is there anything that from this game that can somehow tie into some of the things we encountered in the first game? Things like that. So obviously, Irrational Games, Ken Levine, and the main guy who helped kind of direct this whole thing, an incredible job. And if this truly is the last time that this company, Rational Games and Ken Levine, are going to touch the Bioshock franchise, what a way to go out with one of the best jobs that you could possibly do with this game. I mean, yeah, this game was delayed like, 3 or 4 times or something like that. I think I joked it was like 6 times at the beginning of this playthrough. But, boy, it ended up being quite worth the wait. The gameplay was just so familiar if you played the first 2 games with, with the vigors and the different weapons. I didn't like that you only could carry 2 weapons. I kind of liked the old way from the first 2 games, where you could collect every weapon and have them on you. But then again, I mean, in those first 2 games, I pretty much only used like a couple of weapons anyway, because I was kind of like, I prefer these 2 weapons as opposed to the other ones. But it was also nice to be able to have those weapons on your body if you ever run out of ammo for those 2 weapons. The different vigors I liked, even though I do kind of still like the plasmids from the first 2 games, but like, I don't know. I mean, the crows or the bees, I like both, so I don't know if I want to pick one over the other. But the gameplay, if you play the first 2 games, it's very familiar. I think it's pretty fun, even though some people had issues with it, and I can understand why. Partly also depending on whether or not you want to play on higher difficulties, like Angry Joe does, where he's like, I refuse to play on the lower difficulty levels, or lower the difficulty. And, that may be for him, but for those of us like myself who just want to have fun and experience the story, which is so good, that you don't want the fights to hurt your experience of experiencing the story. I think there's there's a special scene here.
This is fine. It's that one line I don't.
Where these two are kind of here are the voice actors. There's Troy Baker on the left with the guitar. That's Courtney Draper, the voice actress for Elizabeth. And there's Ken Levine, the director of this game, on the right. They're just kind of doing a little jam session, singing Will the Circle Be Unbroken. In fact, that's another aspect of the story of this game I want to touch upon. What that song is truly referring to is the aspect of what that song is really referring to is the aspect of, like, when it says the circle, it's talking about how this whole attempt by the Luteces to get this whole thing to stop, of having Booker try to save Elizabeth and defeat Comstock and all that, but it always keeps ending the same way. So it keeps happening over and over and over, hence the title, Bioshock Infinite. That there are an infinite amount of doors, that the amount of tries that they have been doing to fix this possibly is like an infinite amount of tries, or is it? You know, it's all kind of speculative. Like, has this been going on infinitely with them? Like, all right, let's get Booker and let's have him set him on his path to try and save Elizabeth, which would also explain some other things that happened earlier in the game, such as like when Rosalind sent him the telegram when he was just standing in a random place, and he's like, "Hey, telegram for me, Mr. DeWitt," and I'm like, how would he know where to deliver the telegram to that specific spot? And that's because that event had happened so many times that Rosalind Lutece knew that's exactly where he would be standing at that point in time, because that's where all the other Bookers had been standing. And also, that's why she said, don't pick number 77, because she knew that 77 would be the winner of the winning number of the raffle. And that if he did find 77, that would set that chain of events in motion. So it was kind of a, if you just don't do this, maybe this won't happen. But apparently it just kept on happening. Plus also Booker's character was kind of a, I'm not going to do what anyone tells me to do, I do my own thing. So he was like, oh, don't tell me to pick 77. Well, fine, I'll pick 77 then. Just because I can. You know, just because I don't want to do what you tell me to do. So there's that other aspect of it, of, are they ever successful? How many times have the Luteces tried to fix this without success? Can they fix this without success? Were they finally able to do so in this regard, in this attempt? Or were all those other Bookers and Elizabeths just examples of it failing once again, and they're like, okay, we have to do this again. I mean, they're both stuck in time and space, apparently, so I guess perhaps they're immortal, so to speak, because they keep appearing and disappearing constantly. So they're just constantly, like, helping us along without the fear of anything happening to them, because apparently nothing can happen to them. And that perhaps they're able to keep on doing this over and over. As scientists, they're like doing, it's like a science experiment to the both of them. That's why sometimes what happens, she goes, a theory, when she like starts to come up with a theory. They love to do that. They love to come up with all these scientific theories and of how to possibly solve this problem, this issue they keep having of Booker constantly turning to Comstock and taking Elizabeth. And can they somehow set this all right? That they kind of help set this all in motion at first in their first initial reality, which, remember, they have each are from their own reality, because they're both the same person, just a different gender. So in that regard, yeah, like, are they ever able to be successful? Was this the successful attempt that they've been trying to go for? Were we finally able to succeed in what the Luteces were trying to do? And so it doesn't give you a clear answer, though. As you saw in that ending there, we saw Elizabeth just standing there. She was the last one there, and then it just fades, and it just goes to black. So it doesn't give you a full-on answer. It just kind of leaves you to your own interpretation. However, this is actually answered in that DLC I was referring to, the Burial at Sea DLC, about what happens when Elizabeth and Booker go to Rapture. Like, and why are they there? Well, I don't want to spoil why they're there, because that's actually a big reveal in the story as to why. But it gets pretty good. It's pretty interesting. It's just as good and interesting in terms of the story and storytelling as the main game. And the main game on its own is great, but for the overall story involving the first game as well, it's extremely vital to the story. The two Burial at Sea DLCs. And of course, I'll definitely be getting to that at some point. In fact, I'm going to arrange it where I'll make it a separate playlist, but I'll also include it in this main playlist so that you can be able to continue this from this part into the first part of the next one. So let me turn this up a bit.
Britney Spears and Seal.
Alright, well, that was the end of the clip anyway, so I think that's it. So it was kind of a nice, cool little clip there, seeing the two of them practicing that song. Oh, hold on, there's one last scene here, guys. Which, by the way, Courtney Draper?
Anna.
I don't know, I may have a tiny bit of
Anna?
a crush on her, but, I mean, she's just as beautiful as Elizabeth was, and she has a beautiful singing voice. As you could hear her singing that song, just beautiful. Oh my gosh, is Anna in there? Is the baby in there?
Is that you?
Oh, and again, they don't give us the answer. It goes to black. So we saw the cradle, but we don't know if the baby was in there. Bioshock Infinite. So I hoped I was able to try and explain every aspect of the story to you guys as best as I could. I may have left some aspects of this story, because it's a huge picture story that you really need to think about and, like, go back and like, listen to certain aspects, which is why I was trying to get all the voxophones, which I did, so that hopefully those could answer any possible questions. But as I said, the story is not over. I mean, the main story is over, but we have Burial at Sea Episode 1 and Burial at Sea Episode 2, which for some reason it's not letting me scroll down to pick that. I may have to check if those got downloaded and installed. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. We will be doing Burial at Sea at some point, but for now, this was the story of Bioshock Infinite. Quite an amazing story with an amazing ending. And until then, my name is DJ Neeks, and I will see you guys next time.